What's up, guys? Welcome back with some more Quake 3. So, I swear that I've already recorded this fight before, but it took a viewer to comment on the previous part to say there's only 2 videos to this series, and that I completely forgot about it at some point. Either that, or I had a lot of complications recording this fight, and I just gave up on it because Half-Life Decay was already pissing me off. So, anyway, this is a CTF match, and it is a one-flag CTF match, which means that, we're going to be putting a stupidly big, vertical map that is non-symmetrical, and we're going to be, it's just going to be us against the bots, which means this is going to be ludicrously unfair for them, of course. And because the thing about this map is, while it does have a railgun on it, so that makes it easier for us, also they can't score. So we pretty much obligatory win this fight, except for the fact that we could run out of time. That's basically the function of the bots in this. It's basically us, we are the attackers, they're the defenders. The only thing they can do is stop us from getting the flag. They can't actually capture for themselves. But I'm not sure if it's actually like this in normal one-flag CTF in this game. I don't think it is, but for all I know. Anyway, shenanigans will continue to ensue. So this might be one of the longer fights in this part of the game because of the fact that it's a CTF match and that frags don't count. I'm failing miserably to hit this guy with the wow. Because I suck. I haven't played this game in a while, and the aim assist, although it does help me quite a bit, betrayed me then. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the flag again and progress with what we were doing. Anyway, I do plan to continue this for a couple more videos until I get probably into where you fight Zero, I think you fight him there. I'm not sure who you fight. There's one particular part that I know I at least want to get there, and I'll see if I want to continue from there. I'm not actually sure how long this game goes on for after that point, if that's not the end. So, we'll see. Like I said, I have tested this first part of the game quite a bit more than the later parts, but I think I know what I'm doing from this point on. But, as far as the rest of this video goes, it's basically going to be this one... That was my headphones. It's basically just going to be this one fight, so I guess I'll go ahead and explain some thoughts and plans about some unrelated topics and some future LPs. So, speaking of id Software games, speaking of videos that haven't come out for a while, if you guys remember my Rage LP, there were 2 missions that were not included, or 2 videos that were not included because the files got deleted somehow. So I'm tempted to re-record those now because there is a new DLC that finally came out for Rage. So finally Rage, after being out from a year and like, what, 2 months, or 3 months even, so like 15 months, something like that, they finally released DLC for it. And it's actually really good DLC too, so I'll elaborate on exactly what changes about the game when I actually get around to recording that, but I do want to do a side series about the new levels and basically continue the Rage LP and do it as thoroughly as I'm doing the Deus Ex 3 one with that DLC as well. And I'll do the same thing with Bioshock 2 and do that game's DLC, which is a freaking incredible campaign. But more on that when we actually get around to that. That is also my next planned LP after Fall of Cybertron is Bioshock 2, and I'm kind of putting the Bulletstorm LP on hiatus for a while just because I'm just not feeling it right now. I think I played that game so much earlier this year trying to get ready for the LP that I just got so burnt out on it, and I was creating expectations, unrealistic expectations for my ability to LP that game. I still think I'll be able to do it just fine whenever I get in the right mood for it, but it'll be a long time coming. So, I really need to get Bioshock 2 hurried up, though, because I have lost a ton of time being sick and with work the way it was, and finishing up the second... Oh, I really like this effect, too, with the shotgun shells going through the water like that. I think that's really cool. But, anyway, that's just the water physics in the Quake engine, which has always been interesting, to say the least. Looks like we can actually fire our weapons underwater in this game, which I don't think we could do in Quake 2, if I recall. But, at least I know we can't in Half-Life, that's what the crossbow is for. But, let's see, what else? So, yeah, after Bioshock 2, I might just do whatever, like, I might have Bulletstorm ready by then, or I might move on to Dishonored, which is the next game I want to LP, because I'm still in my first run through that game, but it is incredible so far. Like, it is easily on par with Bioshock 1 and Deus Ex 3, and I'm thinking it's going to be enough of a game like that to where I will definitely want to LP it. It's going to be a very ambitious game, much like those two games were, more on the lines of how ambitious Deus Ex 3 was, because there's a bit more open worldness, a lot more exploration, a lot more choices. Whereas Bioshock was it had sort of the non-linear level setup where it's like you were in a level, but so you're still constrained by the level itself, but you can kind of progress through the level however you want to, in whatever order you want to. That's a lucky shot. But but hopefully I can get Dishonored at least started by the time the Bioshock Infinite comes out, because testing Bioshock Infinite and testing Dishonored are going to be very conflicting with each other, to say the least. So, because they're going to be very similar games and very awesome games, to say the least. But, with, also, I ordered a, as I said in my id Software collection, I ordered, my Quake 64 cartridge does not work. So I ordered another one, so hopefully I'll have a working cartridge of Quake 64, and if I play that game enough, I'd like to LP that as well, so I have the entire Quake quadrilogy under my belt. And speaking of id Software games, I should have mentioned this way earlier before ranting on about Dishonored and Bioshock Infinite, but because this is what I'm going to do after Bioshock 2, is this actually might be a side LP I can do along with Bioshock 2 if I can get the Rage thing done soon enough, is to do Doom 3 BFG's Lost Mission, which is basically a side expansion to Doom 3 that was added in the BFG edition. Wanted to do the entire Doom 3 campaign, but when you really get down to it, BFG edition or not, Doom 3 is one of the most over-LP'd games of all time, and you really can't argue with that, so there's really nothing I can say that hasn't been said a million times before as far as Doom 3 goes. So, as much as it is a great game, as much as I would like to show off the BFG edition and talk in depth about the changes in between the two versions, between the original Xbox version of Doom 3, which I could never LP because it was way too dark and the controls were not good enough. Yeah, for intense underwater battling. But, now the BFG edition I can actually record properly and actually have decent gameplay and actually play it competently in a high difficulty setting. That being said, I would still just like to keep it to the Lost Mission, because the Lost Mission is new and it's fresh and it's also short. So, but it's actually really good though. It's basically the same. It's basically what we really needed out of a new Doom 3 campaign, which was it's short, and it's brutal. Like, it is short, and the enemies they throw you tough enemies right out of the gate, and it is it's just really tough. And there's a gimmick to playing it on Nightmare as well, which is a really nice touch. So it's pretty much exactly what the people who played the original Xbox version of Doom 3 to death really needed out of it. So it's not great, it doesn't have any kind of story or anything like that, and the ending is a total letdown, much like Resurrection of Evil. Like, there is no ending really, and it just kind of stops. But anyway, back to this game for a minute. We unlocked a chain gun here we can use in the next fight, and we have won the fight. So you can see where my other file is on 5.1. That might be where I stopped this LP, I'm not sure, but I'd like to play through the entire thing if I can. Other comments on the previous parts have pointed out this game's long loading time, so you can see me editing them out right there. Also, our appearance changed at the beginning of the last fight. We are now a Freeman, not to be confused with that Freeman from that Half-Life series. And we now have a red visor, which is awesome. But this fight I'm actually really worried about. This might be the hardest fight in the game in this first half of the game, and it actually took me quite a bit of tries to beat this the first time through the game, because what we have to do here is this is another elimination fight. Dang, I'm just beating the crap out of Orb there. But this elimination fight, basically, what it is you have like 5 opponents or something like that against you, and you have like 13 lives or something like that. But you have to eliminate all of them before they eliminate you. And it balances out fairly well, but when you get multiple opponents ganging up on you, it can be difficult to spread your kill-death ratio enough to be able to keep the advantage on them. So you gotta sort of isolate them and kill them as fast as possible so they don't you can just get their lives out of the way. And if you can kill the same person multiple times and eliminate them right away, then you'll be fine. I think we actually have only 10 lives now that I look at it in the corner there. So even fewer than I thought. But I think I've pretty much figured out the strategy for this, if any. And keep in mind, I haven't played this game in a while, so getting back into it now is kind of a bad idea. Wow, that was great. Killed myself, I don't know, from the fall or by my own frag or what happened there, but I definitely was not killed by an enemy. Like I said, the sooner you can eliminate an opponent, the fewer enemies you have to fight. So the fewer enemies you are a target to. But the fact that this is a non-team-based match with every bot is against you is vilely unfair. But I have cheap strategies like spamming grenades over here and such that will work for me. I am incredible. If you haven't noticed, in most games that I play, because I LP mostly shooters of the first or third person, I am not especially trigger happy, and especially in most games where reloading is very frequent for me. But in this game, I'm incredibly trigger happy. Like, I will empty that freaking gun into an enemy, because that's just how you get kills in this game. I mean, you just do it out of habit, especially because it takes from the previous Quake games in the sense that you don't reload. You have just a continuous ammo pool, much like in the first two Dooms as well. It wasn't until Doom 3 and Quake 4 where you actually reloaded. But I know I did my version comparison with this and Quake Arena Arcade, the Xbox Live version, and I promised to LP that, but that's going to be a much greater undertaking than I gave it credit for, and I think I'd like to LP that either from beginning to end or do it on a much lower difficulty like I'm doing this game if I ever want to attempt that. But right now it's just not going to happen. I'm going to put that one on the back burner for a while if you guys are okay with that. I compare the two versions, which is what I set out to do, and I'm LPing this version, but like I said, if I had a choice, I think I'll just leave that one be for a little while. I do still stand by my statement of if anybody wants to play that game online with me on Xbox Live, let me know. I'm always up for a match in Quake Arena Arcade. I might not be that great at it, and the connection issues are always annoying when you can never line up a railgun shot that'll actually hit anything, but it's still fun in my opinion. Anyway, so yeah, Doom 3 BFG's Lost Mission, that's definitely going to be a good LP to do. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to do that on Nightmare because of the gimmick. I may decide not to. It depends on how competently I can fight on this tiny recording window. But I'm really looking forward to that, and it'll bring the whole id Software thing full circle. And if I can do Quake 1 as well, then I'll pretty much have LP'd every id Software game except for the Wolfenstein series and the early Dooms, which the early Dooms are sort of untouchable, just because, again, so many people have played them, and so many people have played them for so long that there's a whole nother level of skill that is just incomprehensible to me, and I would never be able to replicate that. I still think I'm fairly competent at the Xbox Live Arcade versions, but I'd like to do a mass version comparison of Doom. It's just I can't record half the versions that I have. I can't record, you know, the Sega Saturn version or the 32X version, or the Jaguar version, or the 3DO version, or the Game Boy Advance version, or any of that stuff. I can only record the ones I didn't mention. But if I do decide to record the classic Doom, it'd probably be something like Doom 2 No Rest for the Living, because that is part of the Xbox Live version, and it's exclusive to that. In Doom 3 BFG, the classic Doom 1 and 2, the Xbox Live versions, were ported to the PS3, but they're still on the part of the disc on the PS3 version of Doom 3 BFG, so they're not actually treated as separate games on the PS3 version. So, but it still has No Rest for the Living, so that would be the only thing I'd consider LPing, and maybe do a co-op LP of that with somebody else. We'll see. Anyway, I only have 3 lives left. I gotta eliminate this guy, and this is gonna be intense. Like I said, this is a very tough fight, but he has to kill me 3 times before I kill him once. So I think, oh yeah, I got it. Like I said, that was a tough fight.